Hello everyone, this is Rabbi David Zirkind from the Riverdale Jewish Center with another installment of our weekly Parsha video this week for Parshat Emor and in advance of Lag BaOmer, but of course a very different and difficult week for us at the RJC, dealing with the security issues which of course we've shared with you throughout the week in our ongoing investigation. So I wanted to reflect with you on a personal feeling that I've had over the last couple of days as things have settled down and the investigation is fully in the hands of the NYPD, but also an idea that really is reflected through the theme of our Parsha and its focus on Sfiras HaOmer. You'll notice in Parshat Emor that the Torah teaches us about all of the Chagim of the year, and after it teaches us about Pesach, and then Sfiras HaOmer, and then Shavuos, the Torah takes a break to teach us halachos of what we would just simply refer to as tzedakah, the halachos of what farmers are supposed to leave behind or separate so that the poor can benefit from their crops if they don't have real estate and crops of their own. And at first, even though it's only a couple of psukim, it seems very jarring. The Torah is talking about Yamim Tovim, it's not talking about other mitzvos, so why do we break from talking about Svira to talk about Tzedakah before the Torah can continue on to talk about the theme of Rosh Hashanah? And I think the answer is pretty clear. The celebration of the karbanos that are brought between Pesach and Shavuos, from the Karban Omer to the Shtei Halechem, is a celebration of autonomy and security and accomplishment. One day, b'moshvo seichem, you will be in the land of Israel, you'll have your own space, you'll have your own crops, you'll feel incredibly successful. And the Torah asks you to channel that sense of success and accomplishment by bringing all of those crops to the Beis HaMikdash to celebrate in the form of the karbanos that are at the identity of what Pesach and Shavuos are all about. And in that moment, when a person finally feels that sense of security and that sense of accomplishment, what are they supposed to do next? And the Torah says, give tzedakah. The point is that when a person realizes that they have accomplished everything that they were set out to accomplish, when they have the security and the financial future that they need to prosper into the next few months and maybe into the next year, once you have the clear space in your head, you have to start thinking about others, because realistically in the process of achieving all of that success, you've probably been more focused on yourself than on anyone else. This is always the case, that there are times in our lives when we are more focused on me, making sure that my family has what it needs, and then there are times where we have the space and the opportunity to be able to focus on the needs and the well-being of others. So it just so happens that this coincides with the holiday of Shavuos. This is what the celebration of the Omer is all about. If I can put my worries and my needs aside because I know I've done everything I need to for the future, so now I can think about others. Then I can think about how I'm going to give generously to others so that they can have a worry-free and successful year as well. This week has been a very selfish week for us, in the sense that we have had to think about ourselves and our security first and foremost. And what it reminds us of is the importance of thinking about others. What we wouldn't give for things to be more peaceful, so that we could think about chesed initiatives, so that we could think about Torah learning, so that we could think about connecting with others in informal ways. This week we just didn't have the bandwidth for it. And one of the lessons that I learned from this Parsha, and one of the hopes that I have for the weeks ahead in the celebration of Shavuos, is that we can put behind some of these distractions so that we can be better prepared to focus on our mission. Our mission as a shul is to be thinking about you, is to be thinking about our community, is about doing chesed, about giving tzedakah, about sharing as much Torah as we possibly can. And we're not going to let these kinds of distractions prevent us from doing that. So my hope is that as we count these last few weeks of the Omer, from Lag BaOmer until Shavuos, my hope is that we will have the space, the thoughtfulness, the mindfulness, and the bandwidth to be able to get back to what we do best. And hopefully, instead of being in need of your support, we'll be able to pay it forward, making sure that we are giving as much to our community as ever before. Shabbat Shalom to one and all, and I want to wish you a wonderful Lag BaOmer. We hope to see you back at the RJC very soon.